Well, anyway, my name's Ed Hertel, Lori's dad, and my wife Mary. We want to welcome everybody tonight. I just can't think of a more joyous occasion to have my family here for our daughter's wedding and our new son-in-law. So, congratulations to them. And we, some of you weren't there after the wedding, but we took a lot of family pictures, and which was really neat. And they had it all worked out who was going to be in different photos. I think Joanna probably helped. But oh, you didn't? Okay. I'm about ready to end the speech, Lori. So anyway, the point of that was this: we had the Busso family is the family I married into, and we had the entire Busso family, and it's grown since I came in the family 38 years ago. But the reason I mention that is when I got married, they took me in hook, line, and sinker, as they say, and we try to do that with our son-in-law Matt, and we're doing that with Andy. But it's really neat because I'm one of them, and then the House family, took their family photo, and it's a big family, kind of like the Busso family. And the same thing, it's obvious to me that they've taken in Lori, like the Busso took me in, and so I think it's wonderful. And I want to say thanks to Jack and Amy for being so welcoming to our daughter and to Mary and me. We had a really nice time last night too, by the way, and. Backing up a little bit, I guess, and I won't keep it too long, but we heard about Andy a couple of years ago, and yeah, maybe longer than that. Anyway, heard about Andy, and she mentioned this fellow named Andy, and said, well, okay. And then later on, we heard about Andy again, and it kind of went on for a while. We thought, well, maybe there's something to this. So then we finally met Andy. We said, well, he's a pretty good guy. And so we didn't know it was going to develop into this, but we're happy. But we're happy that it did. And the more we know Andy, the more we like him. We're welcoming him into our family, which would be Mary and me, and Matt and Heather, and of course the Bussos. And they're doing the same thing for you. You're lucky. So, anyway, I just want to say thank you to everyone to be here. A lot of you took a day off from what you're doing to be here, and that's pretty special to us. I do want to mention we've got a couple of grandmas over here. I can't overlook my mom, Helen, and Dolores, Andy's grandma. And that's special that they're able to be here. So, welcome. And anyway, we just wish God's blessings to you, and hope you have a long and happy marriage.
All right. At this time, I believe the bride and groom have a few words that they'd like to say.
Hey, being put on the spot. I know you did. So, well, I'm very loud, so as most people that know me know, I'm a very loud person, so I just wanted to thank everyone. This has been an incredible day. Yesterday, thank you, my dad, my mom, Joanna. It was an incredible night for rehearsal dinner. Tonight, Ed, Mary, everyone. This has been an incredible day. I think tonight is going to be an incredible night. I just want to thank everyone here. Like, we just spent an entire 2.5 hours at the zoo. It was very hot, very miserable. I think they're going to lead to some of the most amazing photos, and I really appreciate everyone tolerating us wanting them to do that. So thank you to the wedding party. Thank you, everyone, for coming here. I think it's going to be a great day. Thanks. Anything?
I mean, Andy said it pretty eloquently. We really appreciate everyone being here. When we walked in here, we kind of looked around and we looked at a couple different venues, and they didn't quite seem like they'd be a good fit for us. And we walked in here and we were like, yeah, we can see our family in here. Like, this'll work. So I'm glad we can have you all here, and it's wonderful that you all came to celebrate with us and could be here with us. So thank you.
Thank you.
So, Andy, I have to tell you, when I wandered into the Delt House with Spiz, and you and Corey were working on making garbage vodka into Grey Goose through a Brita filter, this is not where I saw this ending. Just throwing that out there. Not to say that we're not all happy to be here tonight, but I just had to throw that out there. So, do you know what Lori's favorite movie was growing up? And we're talking like under 10. That's fair. Lilo and Stitch was up there. Thank you for having Jenny and Not a Weird Alien. The favorite movie that we like shredded the VHS of was Cinderella. We watched that thing until it literally fell apart. So it only feels appropriate that not only are you her Prince Charming, but you literally took her to the top of Cinderella's castle and proposed to her, and that's part of why we're here tonight. So thank you for being her Prince Charming. And we're so happy to have you, and we are wishing you a lifetime of joy, and I hope that you get everything you want. And I think that he's here, and I'm really excited for you. Have a good night, everybody.
Well, well, well. We're here. So a lot of you might remember when my wife Joanna and I got married 13-ish years. I nailed it. I got the number right. 13 years ago, that Andy got up and gave this amazing best man speech where he talked about his theme was mistakes were made, and he just listed off really dumb, embarrassing things that I did and then said mistakes were made. And until he got to, and then he met Joanna. And he fell in love with Joanna, and mistakes weren't made. And he's like, oh, and everybody for years and years and years, I've had to hear about, that was the best man speech I've ever heard. That was great. That was great. So I've been having that in the back of my head and trying to top that and trying to come up with the best way to do this. And I think I've got it here. So while his theme was mistakes were made, I'm going to go with my own theme of I knew. Because I saw this coming a mile away. So, when I first met Lori, I bombarded her with questions. Andy wanted to make sure that we met her and everything was cool first before we brought her to mom and dad, and wanted to because as a lot of you guys have met us over the past, couple days, we're an interesting bunch. And so I bombarded her with questions. And one of the questions that still sticks out in my mind is I said, "Why Andy?" And she had two answers. She said, "He's funny." And I said, "Agree." And she said, "Well, he's Andy." And I said, "Agree." We could agree that he's funny and he's Andy. But that answer of he's Andy, trying to be all-encompassing, I started to think there's something to this. And so I kind of knew. Then Andy and I were out one day, and I was like, oh, there's a question I forgot to ask her. I forgot to ask her about music. What kind of music is she into? And Andy goes, oh, music, a lot of the stuff we listen to. And I'm like, really? Like what? And he goes, she knows every word to the Kanye West Big Sean classic Click. And so as soon as we walked into her house, Andy's house, and she was emptying the dishwasher, I said, Lori, I hear you know a song. And I put that song on, and she doesn't look like it, but this girl's got bars for days. She spit back to me while doing the dishes every single word to that song. And at that point, I kind of knew. Then we went out to dinner with mom and dad. And Dad told part of the story last night, but I'm not going to let him totally take my thunder away, is when we had dessert and we didn't have any silverware, I said, Lori, we're like the Yakuza, and you have to prove yourself to this family. Go steal silverware from that table over there. And without missing a beat, she did it. I knew. Then Lori told us a story where she said, well, Andy was either, taking a poop or he was taking a shower. Either way, he was in the bathroom for a long time. So I went and hid under a table so that when he came out, I grabbed his leg and scared the crap out of him. To an older brother, to find somebody else that likes to pick on his younger brother as much as I do, this is a woman after my own heart. And I knew. Then there's times where she sat down for the first time, worked with Will, and was helping him with his reading. When I saw that kind of kindness, I knew. Then there was when Will was coming up for his IEP meeting, and Lori was very serious about it and giving us questions to ask and helping us through it to make sure that Will was getting the best education possible. It was things like that, seeing that I knew. The way she fit into our family, I knew. And a lot of people will say that they know, and a lot of people will say that they knew, but I keep the receipts. Andy, what is the create date on this file for my best man speech?
2019.
August 2019. I started writing this best man speech almost 3 years ago, before he'd even purchased a ring, before there was a proposal, before there was a yes. I knew. So to the brother that I couldn't do without, and the sister I never knew I needed, let's all raise a glass to Andy and Lori, and to many years of happiness. Cheers. Oh.